Welcome, everybody, to a new edition of UFO Man Live. My name is Tim, or UFO Man. My co host for tonight has bowed out because he has some physical ailments that he needs to deal with. So, Rob is taking the night off, and Tom Reed is busy working on UFO Expo 2023 in Roswell, New Mexico. So tonight we have a very special guest with us. Her name is Elena Danaan. She is currently residing in Ireland. She is a field archaeologist, a druidess, a Celtic priestess, a psychic, a contactee, an alien experiencer, and if I remember correctly, the last one is she is an emissary for the Galactic Federation of Worlds. So please welcome Elena Danaan.
Thank you, Tim. I'm very honored to be here tonight. Thank you.
Okay, Elena, we have a lot of people coming to see you this evening. So what we're going to do is dig a little deeper into your background and your mission here on Earth. Okay, so can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Well, the official version is I was born in France. I am an archaeologist. I live now in Ireland, and I have been an experiencer with extraterrestrial for since I'm a child, since I was 9, and when I was abducted. Until now, I kept contact with the people who rescued me. But behind the scene, who I really am, I am as everyone is an eternal, immortal soul, as you all are as well. My soul was born into existence from source for the first time a very long time ago. And I would say the galaxy far, far away. And throughout an innumerable amount of existences, I've been experiencing the journey of the soul until arriving on Earth, having many incarnations here, and being here today speaking to you, presenting my experience of this life and my mission in this life that I have embraced with all my heart, my soul, and everything I own to help you going through these times. So this is me, and I think tonight we are going to talk about more especially my experience with abductions and how I was rescued from these abductions. Who were the people who rescued me? They were not from here, from this planet. And how did I keep contact with them all these years until now? And how they even offer me a job. So that's me.
Okay, we do have a video clip that tells about who Elena Danaan is, and she has given her gracious permission for us to use it. So here we go.
My name is Elena Danaan. I am an awakener. I came here to help and guide humanity reconnecting with their true nature and power, and embracing their sovereignty. I came from a place very far away from here, and like many others, I chose as a mission of heart to come and help humanity of Earth in their great awakening. I was born into this existence from a long ancient line of Baltic shamans. I traveled this planet and worked many years as a field archaeologist, mainly in Egypt, working for the French and the Egyptian governments in Luxor, Karnak, Cairo, the Valley of the Kings, and Dendera. I was initiated there into the secrets and rituals of ancient Egyptian magic. And I followed later the path of the ancient Druids to complete my knowledge and the connection with the magic of the universe. Certified Druidess and Celtic priestess, I worked at service to the human community in Ireland until the day I embraced my mission fully as an awakener for the greater human community of Earth and an emissary of the Galactic Federation of Worlds. Contactee and experiencer since my earliest childhood, I share the knowledge I have learned from my extraterrestrial protectors for the benefit of humankind. I wrote A Gift from the Stars, a book that tells the story of my abductions at the age of 9 by aliens from Zeta Reticuli, and my rescue by benevolent extraterrestrials from the Galactic Federation of Worlds, who have been protecting me all my life, and with whom I remain in contact to this day. This book includes not only my true story, but also the complete repertoire of the alien races involved with Earth. A star map, where they come from, their different agendas, all the alliances, federations and councils, illustrated by myself. I am also the author of Resilience and the French fantasy saga Chandora. Artist, musician, singer, I use my talents at the service of the greater community of the human species. I came here to tell you that we, people, are the disclosure, that we have the power and that we always had it, because it is to us that belongs the sovereignty of this planet. We are extremely powerful. The Great Awakening has started, and this process is irreversible and exponential. In this historical liberation from long millenniums of slavery, I have the privilege to take your hand and guide you to reach the next level in the evolution of consciousness and enter the galactic community as equal beings, free. May you walk and work in the light, and may you be light, because this is what you are made of.
Well, thank you, Elena. That was a very entertaining, very inspirational clip. I do have a co host that's volunteered to come on. His name is Q. So I'm going to introduce you to him. Here he is. Hi, Q. Welcome.
Thanks, Tim. Thanks for allowing me to pop on and say hello to you guys.
Q,
Nice
this
to
is
meet you.
Elena. This is Elena Danaan. She's living in Ireland. Um, she is a very talented woman. She has very many passions and um, skill sets. So, if you have a question for her, Q, go ahead and ask.
No, at the moment, I heard the list of titles that Elena has. I found the list quite amusing, to be perfectly honest. But I'd like Elena to take the floor, and I'd rather chip in at some point.
Okay, Elena, can you tell us when you were working in Egypt at Luxor in Karnak, what was your research parameters? What were you looking for?
Well, I was hired to record the different iconographies, and especially my specialty was stone carvings. So I was employed to decrypt what was hidden behind the carvings. Some um, pharaohs had the habit to recarve their names or their iconography on the top of others. So my job was to just find what was behind the lines and the different interventions and the different hands that carved the reliefs, and that was my job. But also I participated to field excavations as well, um, and different jobs. I've done all around Egypt as well. But in Karnak, where I was, in Luxor, where I was mainly based, my job was about everything about stone carvings, decrypting the text on the walls and everything.
Yeah, there's a lot of awesome pictures of Karnak here.
Yes, mindfulness, memories. Spent
Yes,
8 years
okay.
there. Yes,
8 years at Karnak. Wow, that's
yes,
impressive. Valley of the
permanently.
Kings. How long were you at the
Yes.
Valley of the Kings? 2 years or eight?
But no, during my 8 years in Luxor, in Karnak, I was hired temporarily for temporary missions in the Valley of the Kings and the Valley of the Nobles. So, and the Temple of Amenhotep III. So, it wasn't continuous, it was sporadic missions of 2, 3 weeks at a time.
Cool, very cool. I was wondering where you went to school to become an archaeologist.
Yes, in Paris. I followed I had my degree at the Louvre University, and first part at Sorbonne in Paris, and then I decided to have field experience and leave for Egypt, and I had the opportunity to have a contract there, and I stayed
Okay.
there. I liked it, and I stayed 8 years.
Elena, I need you to speak closer to the mic. People are
Okay,
saying that your words are dropping out and we need to hear you.
okay, I'm as close as I can be.
Right. Thank you. Also, I'd like to know what made you decide, after you were trained in Egyptian magics, what made you decide to expand your perspective to that of a druid shaman?
Well, since I was a child, since I was even conscious of it, I knew I had abilities the other children didn't have. And my grandmother, my mother's mother, was the person who also had these abilities and who was training me since I was a child to all develop these psychic abilities. My granny was a shaman, and she started to train me as early as she could. And when I went to college, the other children are very can be bullying, and also I always also had on the top of this my extraterrestrial experiences. So I decided to just uh, not only shut up but shut it down because I wanted to have a social life, have friends, and so I did my best to ignore all of this. When I went to Egypt, before I went to Dendera, I was confronted to the magic there. Just entering in Karnak temple, I could feel it. I could feel, and all my psychic abilities went just burst and came back to me like, hey, you can do that. This is what you can feel. This is what you can do. And I was like, oh my God, I need to embrace it. I had no other choice. And then I had this mission, Dendera, I had few missions there. And there, well, the magic is extremely powerful there. It's still alive. And the person who was in charge of the work trained me. She trained me in Egyptian magic. I have to say that in my degree, I had one of the specialties, the point of my degree was the magic rituals in the temples of the New Kingdom in Egypt. So I already knew all the basics, all the having knowledge about it. I didn't know the actual magic, how to handle it, and how does it work. And she taught me. And that changed my life because she encouraged me to embrace who I was and my abilities. And that went very deep. So when I came back to France after my 8 years there, uh, that was there. And I moved into a village, kind of a hamlet in the woods. And I decided to connect with the locals who are living with the cycles of the seasons and nature. And I started to learn about natural traditions who were really similar to what my granny had told me when I was a child. And I decided by curiosity to start to learn about druidry informally, because there was something there, to study a culture, you not only have to learn about the facts, the artifacts, history, but also the ethnology and the myths, the spirituality, the folklore, and all of this, the magic, and I decided to do that. And when I left France and I moved to Ireland, I met with Irish Druids and I decided to learn with them, go the extra step, and then I entered a Druid school, and which is the Order of Bards of and Druids, and it's a big huge school. And I followed the teachings, and 5 years later, I was ordained in Glastonbury as a Druidess, and that really was fantastic. I learned everything about alchemy, magic, traditions, the cycles of the universe, the secrets of the universe. It was fantastic training. And when I was ordained as a druidess, the extraterrestrial dimension came back to my life, and I was abducted again and by good guys. And they say to me, "Okay, that's not all of it. Now you're going to remember, and you're going to we are going to activate you, and you are going to remember who you are, and what your true mission is." That was in 2018, and that's what happened. So all this preparation, all that I had lived until this moment, 2018, November 2018, all that I had lived and learned in my life and experienced personally, professionally, was meant to arrive to this singularity moment when the vortex opened. It was just preparation, and the real stuff was just about to begin. And that's that's the other story, how I became doing
A
what I'm doing
druidess.
now.
Then you became a Celtic priestess as well, correct?
Yeah, that was part of it. Yes, it's how do you say? It's a specialization in. I had my degree, my certificate, and my degree in Druidry, and then I could specialize, do an extra to be a Celtic priestess. What is it? It means that I have been trained and certified to marry people, do funerals, baby name givings, a rite of passage. That's what uh, following the rites of the Celtic traditions. So I can do that.
Cool. Q, do you have any comments?
Well, when you say you've got a degree in druidry and stuff like that, what college was that from? Was it
The
from a
order of bards,
university?
the order of bards, ovates, and druids.
Right, so in actual fact, it's not
The
from
real
anything.
yes, druid order.
Yeah, yeah, so it's not actually based on anything realistic.
It is
I,
realistic.
I don't. Okay. Um, yeah, in a court of law, I don't think that would stand up. But anyway, I understand that
It
you.
is not the law of humans. This is the law of the universe, of nature, and is nothing more realistic than the connection with the universe and with nature, and to learn about its
Yeah,
cycle. I
yeah,
always
that is,
have. I also had academic degrees. I'm an engineer at the CNRS, National Center for Scientific Research in France. So I have both, and Druidry is a real tradition that exists since even before this culture was existed here.
I understand it's a tradition, and I'm not trying to be condescending. All I'm saying is when you say that you've got degrees or whatever, in actual fact, those degrees in the real world don't really mean a lot. And to say that, um, well, it's not a human thing; it's a druid thing. Yeah, to the average person, that means absolutely nothing. But I understand that you are obviously a very spiritual person, and I appreciate that. It's something I personally haven't got. Um, and the fact that you have got it, I appreciate that because I want to learn more about it. I just can't appreciate where you're coming from quite as yet.
Well, I invite you to inform yourself about Druidry, where it comes from, the history of it, and what it is about, and then you will be able to have a good idea of it. Druidry is something, it's not a fantasy, it's a real spirituality. It's not even a spirituality, it's a being interaction of human with its environment. It is based on agricultural cycles, but also it is based on connecting with the hologram of reality and learning how to play around with it, alter it, change it. And it is a very rich and ancient culture. And there are orders of druids whose origin go back to very, very, very ancient times. And this tradition has been passed on all these millennia until now. And there are now orders who train people and certify people in the training. And this is not like an academic training because it involves a personal transformation. It's alchemy. So it's these are schools. These are schools, and they invite you to inform yourself about what the druids are.
I will look more into it. And Terry in chat, I'm not trying to be disrespectful. It's just something that I haven't come across. And the next time you call me an ignorant fool, I will show you comment there. But the next time you call me an ignorant fool, I will boot you off the stream. I'm not trying to put you down, Elena. It's just, it's something I'm not fully accustomed to. I do know a little bit about Druidry. I'm obviously not so much into it as you are, obviously. But I certainly won't take crap from the chat. I will sort the chat out. So just be warned in chat. You will get booted by me instantly if you speak to me like that again, as I am not speaking nastily to Elena. Elena, apparently you've had events, you've had things that have actually happened with you.
Yeah, abductions. Can you
Yes.
speak on them?
You want me to tell about my abductions? Yes. So when I was 9 years old, I was abducted by small greys from the Reticuli who work for the Orion tall greys. And I was taken in the agenda of hybridization. I was 9 years old. And in the process of the abduction, I was rescued by other ETs who are part of an organization that is called the Galactic Federation of Worlds. And these people rescued me and healed me and kept contact with me until now. So the abduction, I describe it in all details in my first book, A Gift from the Stars. But it was a horrendous experience. Yes, that's the drawings I made of it. I hadn't a lot of a memory of it until the moment was ready for me to remember in 2018. They gave me back my memory, and it was so painful to live through these memories again that I decided to take it in my own hands, and I went for hypnosis. So hypnotization, and the hypnotist confirmed everything and gave all the details in one go because that was unplugging straight away. So that's about my abduction. Yeah.
Okay. How did you know that the beings that rescued you were actually rescuing you? And then how did you know they were from where they said they were, the emissary or the Galactic Federation of Worlds?
Because when they rescued me, well, it was very obvious that they saved my life, and they took me on board their ship. They took care of me, and they were very nice. They didn't tell me where they were from the start when I was 9. I didn't know. I knew that afterward when they were keeping on contacting me. They were telling me a little bit every time. And I knew exactly who they were when in 2018 when they came back, because they went away for a while and they really told me everything about them. But until then, I didn't want me to remember too much, not to disturb me too much. So this team, this crew was from different origins. They were two of them were from the Pleiades, from the Taygeta system. One was from Epsilon Eridani, and one was from Sirius B star system. And the Galactic Federation of Worlds, for which organization they work, is gather so many different species, so many different cultures in this galaxy. It is a benevolent organization that works with our good governments, the good part of our governments, especially the secret space program, some secret space programs since the 1940s. And that's who these people are and belong to those who rescued me.
Why isn't the government of any nation coming out with the information concerning these races that are benevolent, that are allegedly watching over us? I've always wondered about that. Why are they only addressing the structural crafts that are flying around?
Because there are two aspects. First, talking about how involved with aliens the government are. You cannot open a door and hide what's behind. When you open the door, everything will come out, and everything is not very good for many governments and people in some governments to know. Saying we've been in contact with aliens since the 1940s. Yes, why? But what have you done with aliens? The dark side of the governments, they can't say, oh, we have interaction working with ETs when that is known. Why? And you need to know to say why and etc. Well, we've been working with abducting people, experiencing on people, selling people like slave or like food to bad ETs, etc. That's one thing. That's why those who work for the dark side, let's say, won't tell anything about their interaction with aliens. Now, on the good side, or the people, like, for instance, the US Navy has been working with the Galactic Federation of Worlds since the 1950s, let's say. So, on the good side, well, there is the Galactic Federation of Worlds doesn't want people to know yet. It's always, I know, it annoys people when I say we're not ready, but we're not ready in a way that we need to sort out, get rid of the people, the people who work for the bad side, I would say, the dark ones. We need to pick them out to sort out our problems, because the technologies that are involved must not fall in the wrong hands. That's the most important. When Haim Mashed, the Israeli general, said that the Galactic Federation of Worlds is working with a lot of white hat governments, he also said that the former president of the United States was about to reveal about it, but that the Galactic Federation of Worlds said, no, it's not yet the moment, because of the situation on Earth, and we need really to get rid of our bodies. And then when everything is settled, everything is going to come out on the good side and the bad side as well. We will know exactly what has happened, and it is quite horrific. What may cause chaos is not revealing that we have been working with the good guys since the 1950s. That won't cause chaos. That's wrong. We are ready for that. But what will be difficult and could cause chaos is when humanity will learn that most of the governments on this planet have had dark programs with dark ETs, such as the Orion Group and the Reptilian Scar, to sell out humanity for different profits. And that is going to shock a lot of people. But the ugly truth will come out sooner or later. We will know. And that's the difficult part. But, there are so many whistleblowers who have already told about all these things. But when it will come officially from the government, it will be tough, but that will be it. Yes, that will happen.
The question I got for you that is an extension of what I just asked is, how are we going to rise above the barbarity and violence on this planet to achieve what you're saying. I mean, with good and evil, we're always going to have it. It's going to be very difficult for mankind to change to where we can meet the standards of what you're saying. Because if we need to totally unite globally, uh, we have to eradicate all evil. And I don't think that's going to happen, to be honest with you.
So we need to see this on the other perspective, the other side of the perspective, ourselves. Wars, conflicts, all of this is engineered by
Right.
them. Okay. What if you ask any human being on this planet, how would you like the world to be? How would you like for yourself to exist? How would you see your life? Everyone will tell you, I want to be happy. I want
Right.
to have food everywhere, every day. I want peace. I want to be loved. I want love relationships with people. I want children. I want partner. I want love. I want peace. Everyone will tell you the same things. No one will tell you, I want war. I want to conflict. I want to kill everyone. That's not the human that we are.
Right.
All the conflict is manipulation. We are manipulated to go against each other. We are distracted all the time. Divide and conquer, it's very famous. That's happening. So if we want to stop all this, it is up to us to stop consenting to be manipulated, to stop consent to be fractioned in groups, to go against each other. Stop that. It is together that we go forward. If we are listening to all what the mainstream medias or even so many infiltrated person as well, what they say about, oh, this group, this group is different because they have different sexual habits or different color or different cultural background. You need to be in conflict with them. And they manipulate people like this. And they create narratives that will cause, division. And that is how they manipulate us. If we refuse that, oh, I'm not accepting any narrative that is engineering fear or discord. Fear and discord, refuse it. That's engineering to keep us separated, And if you start to do that first, and then you go within and spend time to discover who you are through meditation, you will remember who you are, and spiritual practice, whatever is your spiritual practice, at the moment it takes you to go within and discover who you are. There are as many ways as there are humans on this planet. So and once you discover who you are, you're going to say, I'm not interested in your narratives. We're all one together. And that's our power. That's what we need to do. And they will wither. And you will stop feeding the beast, as we say.
What do you think?
Elena, the experience you had, and the aliens that you met, do you think there are others, or did you just happen to meet, shall we say, a nice race of them? Because we hear a lot about other people having abduction experiences where they're not so nice, where the experience isn't quite so polite. Do you think they are maybe a different species of aliens, or what do you think about that?
Those who abducted me, well, it was really horrendous. The Zrog Zeta from Zeta Reticuli are the common small grays who work in the ships who perform abductions. It's like a factory in there. they were really, really bad with me. They injured me a lot. It was a horrific experience. So it's really matching what everyone, all that is of grace testify. They're not have no consideration for humans. They hate us, in fact.
All right. From what you first said, I didn't get the impression that your experience of with them was actually bad. I got the impression that your experience was good.
No. I was rescued. I was very lucky to be rescued. But the experience with the Zeta Reticuli has never been nice for anyone. No. I describe everything in my first book, but I didn't take the time earlier on to really go through it. So yes, it was a horrific experience.
Do you believe that there's other races visiting our planet apart from them?
Oh yes, there are so many races. The Greys, they are visiting our planet. I was made aware of 110 races visiting our planet. About 57, there are 57 interacting physically with us on all sides, but there are more than 100 involved in um, our current events. There's a lot of different races on both sides. They have their war, and we are in the middle.
So, what is their agenda?
So the two main agendas is the Orion Greys, who are called Nebu. It's a composite of different Greys from the Orion zone, and they enslave. Their agenda is to gain territories in this galaxy and enslave as many worlds as they can. And when they enslave a world, they tune in the population to their hive. They are all connected by a hive to a hive, and when they enslave a world, they connect the population to the hive, and it's another territory that is gained. So that's the Greys, the Orion Greys. Then you have the Sikaar Empire. That's the reptilians as we know them. But of course, when we say reptilians, it's a type of genetics. It's not all reptilians are evil. It's just these ones, only these ones, the Sikaar, and they are extra-dimensional beings. They come from another dimension. They arrive in our galaxy, and they are all centralized in what we call the Draconis constellation. I suspect the name was invented because we knew, ancient people knew who was living there. Their agenda is, of course, they want to extend their empire, not as badly as the Greys. Europeans want more trade and business, So Earth for them is business. It's food. Humans are food for them, and workforce, slave force, slaves and food for them. The Greys have a different perspective, agenda. It's not about they don't eat us. They don't really use us as slaves because they create clothes and synthetics for that. They don't go to the border to fight slave trade. But what will they do is that just grow the hive, expand the hive. That's it. So they do genetic agendas of hybridization. They are going to hybridize themselves into the local populations to create hybrid race that will be tuned to the hive. And they have been working creating millions and millions of hybrids since the 1950s. That's the two different agendas.
What about the Pleiadians or the Nordic looking races that allegedly came and rescued you? Were they from the Pleiades?
Two of them were from the Pleiades. one from Epsilon Eridani and one from Sirius B system. So these ones are part of an organization which is huge. It's the Galactic Federation of Worlds. This organization tries to unite people and under laws of peace and balance and justice. So once you're in, you're protected by them. And we are in the process to enter the probation period, I would say. So who are they? Yes, they have more of a military. They have a big military action in this galaxy to make peace and justice respected. They are enemies of the Greys and the Reptilians. They are their biggest enemy. Also, they are the keepers of laws, the laws of the universal laws, who are put into concepts and words. Like they created different sets of laws based on the laws of the universe. It's the Prime Directive is one of them, and it really sets boundaries to respect evolution of cultures and species, not to interfere. And this is working very well. So that's who they are. But they're not the only benevolent organization in our galaxy, Nakaru. There are others as well, such as the Andromedan Council, the Orion Council of Five, many others.
Okay, what I was going to say is there is a theory that there is gray and reptilian influences on Earth, right at
Of
this
course.
moment.
Oh,
And
absolutely.
that they're actually interfering with our development. What do you think about that?
But they have until last year when they have been picked out. They have been so the Greys have been interfering with our development quite recently, since the 1950s. But the reptilians have been interfering with our development since millennia. They were always there, and coming and going. And the Sikar left for a long while, and they came back about 5,000 years ago, 5,700 years ago, something like that. So yes, there have been a lot of horrendous influence, and it's over. They've been kicked out by the Galactic Federation of Worlds and the Earth Alliance. The Earth Alliance is the alliance of Earth military and the Galactic Federation of Worlds. From this alliance, we have the Solar Warden program, for instance, and has been developed to be able to protect ourselves. That's what the Galactic Federation of Worlds does. They are not saviors. That would infringe the laws of evolution and the Prime Directive. They do not do that, but they are going to empower civilizations to be that these civilizations are able to defend themselves. That's what they do. So they've been doing that since the 1950s throughout different secret programs, empower ourselves. And we have fleets out there who belong to Earth. And these programs are working quite well. And now it's coming up, with all the secret space program, the whistleblowers. Jean-Charles Moyen is Tony Rodriguez and people like this. They are quite amazing. And well, that's a long subject to talk about, but all of this is coming out, and the Artemis Accords. The Artemis Accords, who are publicly telling that we have space programs, everyone, and we are gathering together, making and that we've seen the birth of our own starfleet on Earth, and that's quite exciting. And all of this wouldn't have happened if the Galactic Federation of Worlds wouldn't have been there since the 1950s, giving us the tools to build all that.
I have
Because
one.
we were never strong enough to fight the Greys and the Reptilians. That
I do.
have been it,
Right. I do have one question for you before I have Q make his comment. What would you say to all the people out there listening that find all these subjects that you're talking about, and I'm trying to include them, that would find it hard to swallow what you're telling us? How would you um, convince them that what you're saying is legitimate in fact?
First, I would not try to convince anyone. I present what I'm living, what I'm doing, who I am, what I do.
Right,
And you know, everyone, we have our own path of evolution in consciousness.
right,
If what I say, some people are just close to it, this is part of their evolution. This is part of their path. I am very aware that many people do not want to hear what I say because their path is different. And the problem with that we've been groomed into trying to convince each other. That's competition, that's war. It's fine, you know, respect, tolerance of everyone's experience, everyone's life, everyone's mission. This needs to be integrated into a human culture,
right,
respecting that someone has a different experience. You don't believe this person has this experience. It's all right. It's all right.
right,
You're still friends.
right. I can honestly say that I try my best to respect everybody's opinion, including Q's. And so, Q, you have a question. What was that?
Well, I have a couple of little questions. Elena, um, your experience with the Greys, how long ago was that?
I was 9 years old, so it was a few decades ago.
So, a couple of years ago.
Oh, yes.
Um, um, so since then, okay, when you actually, shall we say, met them, the information that you're getting now with everything that's going on, how are you getting that information? Is that through with you having your other abilities, or is it through some form of medication? Sorry, I didn't mean to say medication.
You know, you didn't say
Medita-
that.
I meant to
You
say
didn't say that.
meditation. Um,
Meditation, yeah. Yeah, we hear
and
meditation.
and if so, is there any way that somebody like
Funny.
myself? I know. I apologize for that.
It was a great joke. Sorry.
It wasn't meant as a joke. It was a slip of the tongue. But is there any way that somebody like myself, you see, I fully believe that aliens exist in the universe. I fully believe that. Whether they have been here to Earth, that is where I'm really stuck. Sometimes I think, yet they have. Sometimes I think, no, what we're seeing is bull. Um, is there any way using, for instance, a meditation that I can maybe get to the level where you are? Um,
So,
try and help me.
so that is a very interesting question, very good question, because there's a lot of crucial things in that. The way I get my information, it's by either physical contacts or either a quantum communication device. I do not do channelings. I do not respect can. I did that, I can, but I decide not to anymore because I do not want to encourage anyone to do channeling. This is extremely dangerous. Do not people anything who hear that, do not do channeling. The only thing you can channel is your higher self. Is when you go within throughout meditation, you speak, connect with your soul and your consciousness, and you can speak through that. Or your guide, your personal spiritual guides or ancestors or whoever is with you. But to say you channel ETs from wherever, this is absolutely irresponsible and dangerous, because there's so many, dark entities roaming around that can just get in and can pretend. So that's why I don't recommend channeling. It's dangerous, not now. Only with your higher self, that's my perspective. Okay. If you want to connect with aliens, you need something safe, because you never know who's going to be the other side of the door. When you want through meditation to try to open and say, "Hey, aliens, whoever is out there, oh my God, you don't know who is going to connect to you, and sometimes you can be lucky, sometimes not." So if you want to connect with aliens, there are two things, even three. Physically through a device or physical meetings like I do. That's rare. Alex Collier is someone else who has that. Second thing is doing something like CE5, which I think it's extraordinary, CE5. But the protocol, you need to be careful and be protected first and be in a higher frequency. You look at the sky, you try to you're just there, connect with the infinite. And when you see a ship passing, because there's a lot passing, you try to mentally connect with it. And that's communicating with them. But that's fantastic to try that. And the third thing is, if you are what we call a starseed, your soul was incarnated on another planet before coming in this body. You may have still links with people who were your family when you lived there in the previous life. And going within and remembering, you can reconnect with them if they are aliens. That's the only way you can connect with your own aliens. So I don't know if that answers your question.
Sorry,
I was,
Tim. Go on.
I was going to say, to specify what Q was trying to get at is what type of meditation should he use to actually get to a state of mind where he can connect with his soul and talk to his higher self through his consciousness? I mean, I would like to know that too, because I really don't know. Do I need to study Reiki? Do I need to study what? I don't know.
Don't study anything. But first is to put yourself from the disturbance. What I was talking earlier on about.
Okay.
First, the meditation. So you don't need to take a complicated pose at first. You can just be sat in an armchair on your sofa, or just walking in nature. You can do that. Feel comfortable in your body, and then you become aware of all the muscles in your body, from your feet to your head, or tense, relax. Put all your attention in your body. When you do that, you are with yourself already. You're not with the external world anymore. And then when you're really conscious of your physical body, you are going inward. It's an envelope. You are going to go within with your consciousness to discover, to ask yourself the question, who's in there? Who's in there? That's an envelope. Who's in there? So you put your attention to observe. There's a light being inside of this body, and sometimes it's also around it. Sometimes it's not even the same shape. It's superimposed to it. So ask your questions. Oh, what's the color? Identify the color. Identify the shape. usually humanoid. Identify the color of the eyes. Does it have hair? Does it have a gender? And while you do that, you connect to the frequency of that thing, your soul, your higher self. And you connect with the frequency because you interface with it. And then you have raised your frequency because everything that is connected to it, first your body, is vibrating now in a higher frequency. And you beam it. If there are other people in the room or animals, they feel it, they are irradiated by it. So you are here for yourself. And spend time with yourself. And I can assure you that it's not going to be boring. Visions are going to come. Sometimes you're going to feel presences. And you can ask to yourself, who is with me? Who is my family? You can ask anything you ask, you have an answer. Where was I incarnated before? I want to connect with an incarnation I had on another planet. I want to connect to my family there. And you ask that to yourself. When you go on a quest, you need to verbalize the questions. You need to ask clearly the questions, and that will give you a route. And that's how you start. And the higher self is not high above you; it's a higher frequency. You know, so that's why it's
Right.
higher frequency.
Okay, Q.
Well, earlier on, Bob Marley in the chat, and it was an interesting question that he asked, because I've heard this before from other people who talk about these subjects, the likes of UFO proof. If, like myself, I don't do meditation, frick. If you don't know how to meditate, because it's not something I've done before. I mean, I'm a skeptic, but I try to not make me skepticism hide the truth, if you get what I mean. If I don't know how to meditate, can using things like Bob Marley said before, the likes of magic mushrooms, can using psychedelic drugs help you cross that line where you may be able to get to where you need to be able to go further? I mean, if you're taking that type of drug, are you just friggin' stoned? Or are you maybe opening a part of your mind that is closer to some form of meditation? If you get where I'm coming from?
Yes. So, great question. The purpose of the exercise, the practice, is to be able to do it by yourself naturally. That's what you need to do. To go to tune an interface with his be the being inside of you, who you are, by yourself, naturally, and be in this state and live like this. Psychedelic are a shortcut, which is not always good because it can be very dangerous. Shamans take these kind of drugs, psychedelics, to obtain these higher states of consciousness. But shamans are trained and they take all the protections before they prepare themselves psychologically, and they heal all their enemies. That means all the wounds and the traumas must be healed. Because if you are in a state of sadness, despair, you know, mental state that is not great for doing that, you take psychedelics, it's going to not only interfere with your fears. If your fears are going to be bigger, and it's going to be hallucinations, and it's going to be a horrendous experience, and also you haven't prepared yourself, and bad entities are here because you are weak when you do that. You are in a state of weakness because you take drugs and it drops down all your shields. So if you take psychedelics, it must really be in the frame of like in shamanic work. And I think it's not necessary. It's a shortcut. It can become an addiction. It's dangerous. And yes, it can open to other states of consciousness, but I wouldn't go there. It's too dangerous. Try by yourself. That's what is important. That you do not need anything else, and your own will. You need to work for that. Psychedelics is it's to it's shortcut, but I wouldn't.
We have a comment from the chat room from Upper Echelon Giving. These drugs open doors that allow interference from entities or can induce unprepared Kundalini awakenings when you're not ready.
Yes, I totally agree with this person.
Thank you for your comment, Upper Echelon.
So for somebody like myself, if I wanted to start learning how to meditate, where would I start?
Try maybe sophrology or relaxation. That's it. Start to maybe listen to relaxation videos, close your eyes, and go with the flow. And sophrology is great. It teaches you how to relax using the body. This kind of try with relaxation. Once you relaxed, you really aim your consciousness to be conscious, in fact, of your body. And you're here, you relax. That's the first step. Then work with consciousness. Because as I said, isolate yourself. The outside world doesn't exist. What's important in this moment is me. Be conscious of yourself, what I told you. But really start, if you've never done that, start by relaxation exercise.
When you get into that relaxed state, you're that relaxed that you're not thinking of anything, or are you trying to make yourself relaxed and aiming for a question?
So first, the mind is very difficult to silence. So I invented a personal little trick, which is I call it the coat of worries or the hat of worries. So everyone has worries, has problems to deal with everyday's life. We all have. What I think would be wrong is to deny them, go in a state of meditation where, yeah, nearly said medication. Meditation, where if you go in a set meditation saying, I do not have any problems, you won't be able to do it because your mind knows you have problems. So what I do is, my problems is like a coat. So before my meditation, I imagine I remove it and put it aside, and I say, all my worries are there. I'm not denying them. I know after this meditation, I will put this back and deal with my life. But temporarily, I will move them. I know it's there, and I'm going to take them back after. And I find that works best. But and even when you do that, it will go through your mind. Oh, I have this bill to pay. How am I going to do that? Or still there. So, but with practice, it will be less and less because you need to allow the thoughts to pass through you. Okay, this thought. bye. Oh, another one. What about you? Okay, bye. And you let them pass until they're all passed. That's done. you know, um, don't try to block them. Let them flow. Sometimes you can be in a state of trying to meditate, and for half an hour, thoughts are passing.
I find it hard for me when I try to relax and concentrate to quiet the mind. That's
Yeah,
the hardest part for me, to not think of anything. And the only time I don't think of anything is when I'm blissfully in a deep sleep. I can honestly say meditation for me is difficult. At
refocus the
best,
attention. Mm. Refocus the attention. You know, that's not distracting. It's focus the attention on your body. That's why you focus on your physical body. You know, starting by
gotcha.
the toes, the ankles, blah blah. And you focus, nothing else.
So to kind of answer Q, Field of Theater says peace of thoughts when you're relaxing. And like I said, it's difficult sometimes to quiet the mind. Um,
Jeez.
and I think that's where a lot of people find difficulty in raising their awareness because they can't focus. So focusing on the body is the tip you give, and I'm going to try that and see if that helps because I have a lot of stress in my life. So that would really help me focus. Thank you. Q?
Um, Elena, are you concerned that maybe tonight, tomorrow, in a week's time, a month's time, a year's time, that the Greys could actually come back to you because they're following you some way, and like you could end up having another bad experience with them? Does that concern you?
No, not at all, because I have been cut from the Greys since I was abducted, because they started to protect me and isolate me from them since my rescue at 9 years old. That's one point, and all my life I've never ever been bothered by Greys anymore. Then there's this other thing that since last year the Greys have been kicked out from the star system, so they cannot interfere anymore with anyone. Um, there are still some abductions that are occurring, but that's not made by Greys. It's made by dark governments who have, they have fake Greys, I'm going to say. But anyway, so that's another story. The Greys are gone, so they cannot come back. So I'm really, really confident and safe that I'm not going to see these guys ever again.
D- d-
I've actually heard the story that the Greys were kicked out of the galaxy, and that was quite a while back. It wasn't recently.
with all the different aliens that apparently all joined together, um, in the group that you were talking about earlier, um, do you think they are all being genuine and they are loyal to the cause, or are some of them possibly in there just for their own benefit? And if they got the opportunity, they would be not quite so nice.
Well, that happens, because they globally all serve the cause of justice and balance. The thing is, to join the Galactic Federation of Worlds, you need to have passed a certain level in consciousness. You need to be a peaceful civilization among yourselves. So that's first, it's a shift in consciousness that avoid that some people are going to want to be sneaky or conflictual, but that's one thing. But in certain cultures, in certain, I would say, races, um, there is the character, the personality of the race that is still there, and some races are still many a lot into business and trading. So trading leads sometimes to be cheeky, things like this. There has been sometimes it has happened that there was some difference of opinions when wanting to take a decision, and so discussions and some groups maybe were not okay, didn't want to go that way, others want to. Sometimes they argue among each other when they need to take decisions, and some are grumpy, and it's difficult to make everyone happy when you are an organization that gathers hundreds of thousands of cultures. That happens, yeah, especially with humans. But that's a human thing too. It happens. But they recently kicked the group.
Well, when you meditate, is it a feeling of what is going on with the alien races, or is it a direct conversation? I mean, while you're meditating, could you ask a specific question, or is it more a feeling of what you think is going on? Just how much contact do you actually have
Talking
with
about, yeah.
the alien species, if you like?
Are you asking me about myself, or an advice for meditation and?
No, about yourself. I
Oh,
mean,
okay.
when for you to be able to tell us what's going on with the aliens, where exactly are you getting that information from? Is it a feeling in your mind, or are you in like direct contact? Can you ask Bob the lizard man from the planet Zorgon? Hi Bob, what have you been doing today? Exactly how much of a conversation, if you like, do you have, or is it more a feeling that you get of what's going on?
So I have the two ways I get my information is either by technology, by a quantum communication device, or either by physical direct contact. I mean, I'm taken on board ships physically, and I meet with them, and we chat. Um, and when they have information, it's quite important to give me. I don't stay long there because I need to remember. So if I stay long and I have fun, I spend a long time, they're going to beam me back, and I'm like, okay, what did he say already? So these physical contacts are quite short when it's to really give me an information. Or either I receive this by it's a telepathy using connectivity, quantum connectivity. I also have telepathy exchanges with some of them, but that's just for personal and for fun. When it's about information, we use secure ways, either physically direct or either.
That's very interesting. I was thinking that you had a telepathic connection with the Council of Nine. Is that correct?
So that's yes, it's something different. Yes, that doesn't use technology, and that use consciousness contact. So that works by opening a vortex that is going to connect me to them. The nine are no, the nine is it's plasmic. They are plasmic supraconsciousnesses. They are not incarnated beings. They are plasmic supraconsciousnesses. They live in a place that's called the void. It's behind the curtain, if we would say. There is nothing there. It's the void at the center of all the galaxies of the universe. To access this point, it's only with consciousness. And to access it, it's through a vortex. And all of us, as humans, have this vortex, this singularity. It's our pineal gland. So that needs to be activated. I'm not able to do it myself. I need assistance from extraterrestrials. I know I could do it myself, but I'd rather be in the company of one of them who has been doing that. Then I'm sure it's safe and secure, you know. And they contact me whenever they have a message. I'm not bothering them.
I was
How
going to
often?
ask.
Sorry,
Sorry.
Tim.
I was going to ask you a question in regards to the amount of races that have genetically altered our physical DNA. And I heard in one of your videos you stated 24. So could you go
Yes.
into that a little bit?
So the 24 are, they call themselves the Seeders. They are a group, part of the Intergalactic Confederation. They are extremely advanced cultures. Nothing in this galaxy has the level of their advancement in consciousness and technology. Even they merge both. Well, these 24 are scientists, 24 group of 24 cultures. Uh, they they help the universe to expand. They help life to expand and take care that some species don't go extinct. And they populate world, they terraform world. They help the universe, and that's their passion, that's their mission, and they do that. So they are going to take, for instance, the genome of a species and implant it on another planet to develop life and the species on this other planet. And it's experiment. They're going to watch it and just take notes, I suppose. And so they've done that on Earth with hominids, and they have been watching their experiments since then. But they were away for a while. They're back now. There are 24 people, but they didn't put their own genome in it. They different things that they found where it appeared. So we have 11, 11 genomes from this galaxy, and well, plus one original creature. You always need a base for the experiment. That makes 12 in this galaxy, and then 10 from other galaxies. That makes it to 22. That's the compound that we are. And you know, DNA's frequency, it's like an antenna. So, by the bodies we have, we can connect to all these races. Meditation does that. When you
Cool.
connect with who you are, regarding to your DNA, you will have certain frequencies that will match other entities.
Well, Elena, you've said that at the moment you're in contact with them in 3 different ways. One being meditation. Yeah, I miss you too, Alex. You've said you're in contact with them through meditation, through visitation, and also through devices.
Yes.
Please explain the devices.
I knew you would ask that. It's an implant I have. It's like a walkie-talkie, but it's quantum technology. So it allows me to talk to them. So they told me how to activate it, and I send a signal. And if they are busy, well, it's actually 2 people only, 2 persons only, that have the frequency key of this communicator. If they're busy, I will receive a signal back that not now. So if they're not, the communication happens. It's quantum, you know. It's unhackable. There's nothing. I need to say that. There's nothing. It's not linear. So that's how it works.
So, where did you get the device from?
So it was a device that was put in me, when I was abducted, all abductees, they have put device implants in them. It's trackers. Okay.
Oh, so
So the,
it's an implant rather than,
yes,
hi, I've got a walkie-talkie
but it's in me.
kind of thing.
It's in me. It's just inside of my body. It's a very highly advanced technology. So it was a tracker. The Greys had put in me, the Zeta Reticuli Greys had put in me, as all abductees, all of them have. And when I was rescued, they straight away, the good guys, they wanted to remove it, and then they went, oh wait a minute, the way where it was, where it is put, it was damaging to remove it like this, so it was taking time, and they took the decision, okay, let's fry it. So they fried it, and they used this support to attune it, to recalibrate it to their frequencies, the frequencies of the Federation. Then, and the frequency key was calibrated to one person of the crew, the captain of the crew. He had the frequency key, and so he was in contact with me all the time, all my life, and could monitor me, protect me if anything would happen. And this, when in 2018 they came back and they took me again, the frequency was changed, recalibrated to higher military frequencies. Then the signal was stronger and clearer, and that's what I have now to this day.
I have a question from Danai Henderson, spiritual therapist. Please ask Elena to share how the Galactic Federation of Worlds support the Earth Alliance and benevolent militaries. Ask her about her new book, The Cedars, a historical document that humanity waited for.
Thank you, Danny. Well, as I was saying, the Galactic Federation of Worlds has been helping humans of Earth since the 1950s by the elaboration of secret programs to help ourselves build a defense fleet, which is now Solar Warden. They've been there always watching after us and deactivating all nuclear devices, avoiding us to blow ourselves up, basically. So they've been there behind the scenes like this. Well, the Cedars, you see, you've just seen on screen, it's my latest book. It's about, the forward is from Alex Collier, and as he said, amazingly he said, this book it seemed like a book, but it's in fact historical document. I was given the timeline of the true history of Earth. That's what's in this book. Not only. I relate my contacts and my experience with what we call the 24 Cedar, the Intergalactic Confederation, the 9, these plasmic supraconsciousnesses, all the messages, the amazing messages they have for humanity and for everyone, and it's quite mind-blowing, I'd say. I met with different beings, and this book is meant to be to have an impact, great impact, because the truth that I reveal in this book, it's all based, it's all also verifiable. You have archaeological documents, evidences as well in it. But it goes the extra step. All the missing links, it's in there. So, and yeah, that's so much in this. It's nearly 600 pages.
Okay, if people want to find that book, it is available on Amazon along with all her other books, which are A Gift from the Stars, Alien Races, We Will Never Let You Down, and Resilience, Beyond the Impossible. I think that's what it says, Beyond the Impossible. Yep. Okay. Anyways, also on her channel, she has a video about the cedars. So if you go to Elena Danaan on YouTube, you can watch that video about the cedars, and that's a little more informative. And you might be able to hear her better. I know we're having sound difficulties this evening. It's because Elena has a very soft voice, so it's very difficult for her to get her voice to project over her mic. So we apologize for that. I'm sure she is trying her hardest to get her voice out there so you can all hear her. Yeah, she's doing the best she can, and we just wanted everybody in the chat to be aware of that. Q, what is your question? You're muted.
When it comes to Elena's voice, even though it may be a little bit lower in audio, she speaks very eloquently.
Yes, I agree. You're very eloquent in your speech. Yes, you are.
Thank you. English is not my first language, so I speak slowly because I need to find my words. Some people have criticized that. Oh, you speak too slow. Well, I'm French. It's not my birth language, so I need to, find the right words.
Well, don't worry about that. I'm from Liverpool, so English isn't my first language either.
Yeah, he just can't speak correct English. That's the way it is.
Yeah, everybody needs to learn how to talk proper like I do.
Anyways, any last thoughts, Q?
No, it's been very interesting speaking to you, Elena. I did before I came on think you were probably batshit crazy. It's very interesting how homed you are with the whole spiritual side of it, which is something I've not gotten into. It's something I'd be interested in exploring. I like to see a video to see something that I can either believe or disprove. A lot of what you say, it's hard to disprove it because it's just a story, and I don't mean that offensively, but it is kind of a story. But from what you say, it's been extremely interesting, and I'm glad I got the opportunity to speak to you. So thank you for that, and thank you, Tim, for bringing me on.
You're welcome. It's nice to have a skeptic on once in a while because it keeps us grounded. The one thing I have to say is I've heard a lot about raising your frequency and consciousness awareness from other people, like Wes G. Roberts is one, and from Laura Magdalene Eisenhower as well. So there are other people that I'm aware of that is talking about this, and so it's something I just don't really know how to address in my life other than trying the relaxation and focusing on myself to see if I can block out the world and actually get in contact with my higher self. I have not been able to do that yet. If I can, I am definitely going to try. I do know people that can do it, and they seem to be happier for it. So I want to thank you for letting us in on your research and your communication with beings from off-world. And I appreciate you being here very much, and you're more than welcome to come back. As I said, we do have a guest coming up on the 5th of November that you're welcome to be here with. Laura Magdalene Eisenhower is going to be here on the 5th, and I know you're good friends with her, so I hope that you two can get together and come back on. Everybody in the chat, thank you very much for coming this evening. And everybody who watched online, thank you for participating. Elena, do you have any last words?
Yes, thank you to you both. Thank you for the contrast and the interesting questions. That was good fun. What I would say, we are all incredible, magnificent souls. We all have our paths of understanding and becoming aware of it. When you ask, how do I raise my frequency, or how does it feel? What does it mean to be in a higher frequency? Well, just try. The only thing you have to do is to do this meditation. Cut the crap, the fears and the discord narratives. Go within yourself. I mean, be aware of your body and who is in it. And I can assure you, when you connect with, you interface with who you are inside, what's in there, how does it feel? That is what it feels to be in a higher frequency. You will discover bliss, peace, love. Love is like light, it's the same frequency, the same structure. You'll discover all these things. And once you've experienced that, you will remember it. And you can put yourself in the same state of mind, not even meditating, just walking in the street and just trying to be again in this happy place, you know. That's raising frequency, and it's very contagious. That's a contagion we want. That's the pandemic we want. Love and high frequency. So dim your light, everyone. If you have no idea who's within, just go and have a look. That's great.
At least that's better than medication, like Q said. So, anyways, I want to thank everybody on the panel, everybody who watched online, everybody who participated in the chat room. Thank you very much. And thank you to my flock for all the super stickers. I really appreciate it. And from all of us on the panel, good night. We'll see you next weekend. We have David Altman from former member of the UAPX task force and cast member of the movie Tear in the Sky. So I hope you can join us. Thank you very much, Elena, for being here.
Thank you.
Good night, everybody. Oops.